My name is Max Haroon. I'm going to talk about toxic ingredients in toothpaste. What gives me the authority to talk about toothpaste? The answer lies with my dental health journey. In spite of my regular dental visits, I was getting more and more amalgams. When I analyzed the cause of my poor dental health, I found there were 7 causes. One of them was the toothpaste itself. I started doing research, which lasted for 3 years. This talk about toxic ingredients and labeling on toothpaste is based on my research. The question, why do you use toothpaste? To freshen up your teeth, get rid of bad smell, hygiene, dental hygiene. My talk is to make you aware if the product you are using will it achieve your desired objective. Do you know what is in the toothpaste? There are more toxic ingredients than the therapeutic ingredients in your toothpaste. You may ask why it is important. We brush and spit it out. Well, I have a bad news. Now you absorb these chemicals through your mucous membranes under your tongue very rapidly. This is the fastest delivery method to put any drug in your body. Before we talk about these toxic ingredients, a little primer on the formulation of the product. If you analyze ingredients in all types of toothpaste, you will find they fall into many categories. I have simplified them into 7 categories, lumping few similar categories together, and they are: number 1, abrasive and polishing ingredients. A typical toothpaste can have as much as 50% content of these ingredients. Abrasive ingredients include polishing as well. Number 2, moisturizers, including water. Water can be up to 50% of the content. The water and the moisturizer can be as much as 50% of the toothpaste. So in a small quantity, you will get a category number 3, which is bleaching, which includes whiteners. It's one of the active ingredients in the toothpaste. And when I say active, I mean the ingredients which are there for therapeutic purposes, as opposed to inactive ingredients, which are there just for the formulations and preservation and the binding purpose of the toothpaste. So the 4th ingredient is binder and surfactants. They actually are the ingredients which actually binds all the different ingredients together and give a cohesion. 5th is a foaming agent and detergent in the toothpaste. Make you feel as if you are foaming up and cleaning your teeth, which may not necessarily be the case. 6 are colors, flavors and sweeteners, again another inactive ingredient, which are there just to make you feel better, smell and smell the toothpaste. And the last ingredient are preservatives and antibacterial. Antibacterial is a active ingredient to reduce the bacteria in the toothpaste. Here is another slide. This slide is very similar to the previous one. As you can see in this slide, some ingredients are added to make the toothpaste sweeter and flavored. Some are added only for packaging and preserving the toothpaste. Unfortunately, the therapeutic ingredients, active ingredients, are most of the time toxic ingredients. So here are the 7 toxic ingredients which are mostly used in almost all type of toothpaste. Number 1 is sodium lauryl sulfate, SLS, and its derivative, sodium lauryl sulfate, SLES. Number 2, the most prominent and famous ingredient, sodium fluoride, commonly known as fluoride. Number 3, dyes and colors, predominantly FT and C blue, number 1 and 2. Triclosan. 5th, hydrated silica. 6th, sodium saccharin, which is sweetener. And number 7, various glycols, which are alcohol-based product. Two of the common ones are propylene glycol and diethylene glycol. Now I'll give you a brief data on each of the toxic ingredient. Let's start with the sodium lauryl sulfate and SLS and SLES. This is a moisturizer, a binder, a foaming agent, and a detergent. And it is the most dangerous ingredient. Not only you find in the toothpaste, but also you find in shampoo, also you find them in the degreasers which you use in the garages, various other products, detergent products. And just to give you an idea that what the authorities think of the SLS, the Journal of the American College of Toxicology reports that SLS can penetrate and be retained in the eyes, brain, heart, liver, and with potential harmful long-term effects. The second, fluoride. This is an active ingredient. It's antibacterial, and it's a main ingredient in the toothpaste, but also a main ingredient in the rat poison too. So you can imagine why it is toxic. It's controversial, but it's claimed by dental bodies to prevent cavities. Well, a toothpaste has enough fluoride to kill a small child within 2 to 4 hours if they swallow it. And to prove that point, some toothpaste have similar warning label on them. And lastly, and I'll show you that in a minute, and lastly, it has never been approved by the Food and Drug Administration, FDA in USA. Third one are the dyes, colors. Suffice to say that they are coal tar derivatives. So you can see how much potential carcinogens they are. And they've been proved to produce malignant tumors in rats. Fourth toxic element is triclosan. It's an antibacterial agent used. Environmental Protection Agency, EPA in USA, has registered it as a dangerous pesticide. It is also considered as a chlorophenol. That means it's a class of chemical that is suspected of causing cancer in humans. Fifth is hydrated silica. It's abrasive and it's a polisher. It's a whitener, but that whitener will damages your tooth enamel. Because of its chemistry, it changes the alkaline and acidic balance of the mouth, gums, and tongues. And this is important because it is the saliva which actually does the work of remineralization, and chemicals like hydrated silica actually alters the chemistry in the mouth. Sixth one is sodium saccharin. It's a sweetener. It's an artificial sugar, if you like to call it. And if the sugar is bad, then you can imagine how much an artificial sugar can be for your body. It causes mutagenic, toxic, or adverse reactions. Tests on rats in 1980s developed bladder cancer. FDA, Federal Drug Administration in the USA, also listed as a possible carcinogen. And the last one I want to talk about is the glycols. It's an alcohol-based product, and there are many types of them. There are two of them which are commonly used in the toothpaste are propylene glycol and diethylene glycol. They are put in the toothpaste as a surfactant and moisturizer. Again, they are carcinogenic, mutagenic. They cause adverse reaction, and needless to say, they are toxic. Now, this is the label I was telling you. You find in many toothpaste, particularly in USA, it tells you very clearly, warning, keep out of reach of children under 6. If more than used for business, for brushing as an accident, please contact a poison control center. Now let me ask you, why would you use a product which is labeled as a poison, whether it is for your child or for yourself, is nevertheless is toxic? Here is a quote from David Suzuki's Foundation. 1 in 8 ingredients used in body care products are industrial chemicals, including carcinogens, pesticide, reproductive toxins, and hormone disruptors, which is really a bad news because hormone disruptors actually changes your DNA or triggers some DNA which were inactive. So suppose you were destined to have a cancer, and so far you have not suffered from cancer, then and hormone disruptors can change the chemistry in the DNA. So my advice to you is to read labels. All ingredients are not active, some are inactive, like I said earlier. Some are not listed. Law allows them to get away from it. The inactive ingredients, my advice that use a toothpaste with lesser number of ingredients, lesser the better, because the less number of toxic products in the toothpaste. Here are just a couple of toothpaste labels. Here you can see the active ingredient is sodium monofluorophosphate. It's a toxic. And inactive ingredient includes sorbitol, toxic, silica, highly abrasive, sodium lauryl sulfate, we talked about that, flavor, PEG32, mica, sodium carboxymethylene, saccharin here. Again, you can see the color FD&C blue number 1. So you can imagine, see that toothpaste has a lot of toxic ingredient. Here is another example. This label even has an ADA, American Dental Association, label to the right of it. And it says here, hydrated silica, there is a sorbitol, there is sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium hydroxide, propylene glycol here again, sodium saccharin, sweetener we talked about, and the color, FD&C blue number 1, DNC yellow number 10, so it got more than one color in it. And here's the last one, another example of a label. Again, you can see a lot of ingredients, toxic ingredients in it. Sodium lauryl sulfate appearing here again, sodium saccharine appearing again, polyethylene appearing here again, and so on and so forth, and the blue number 1. Here is a label of a toothpaste which claims it's a natural toothpaste. You actually find them in health food store. Very well-known brand, as a matter of fact. And you can see that they do have hydrated silica. They do have sodium lauryl sulfate. How on earth they can put toxic elements here, I really don't know. So, what are your options? Your option is simply use natural ingredients. If you can't find a toothpaste with natural ingredient, make your own. Baking soda as abrasive and polisher. Essential oil like neem, mint, pine, clove as antibacterial ingredient. See? At least you know what you're putting in your mouth. Details of this, as a matter of fact, I have devoted chapter 3 of my book, 7 Steps to Dental Health, to all the toxic ingredients. And the chapter 2 contains how to make your own toothpaste. I've given a number of options over there as well using natural ingredient. Remember, toothpaste alone will not clean your teeth. You need to learn correct brushing techniques and dental hygiene routines, which is the focus of my book. So talking about book, here is the book. I have co-authors like Dr. Oksana Saviak and Klaus Furlow on my book, along with other 5 health practitioners which are listed and acknowledged in the book. The book also has, of course, own website, 7stepsdentalhealth.com. And here's the website, full of resources. I have some resources which are exclusive to the people who have purchased the book, but if you as a listener to my presentation, if you wish to have access to all the resources which are given in every chapter of the book, along with 15 appendices chock full of information, send me an email and I'll give you free access to all the resources. So you'll get a lot more than what I put together during my research while writing the book. Finally, thank you for listening to my presentation. If you have any questions, please send me an email. It's very simple. book@7stepsdentalhealth.com. Goodbye.